Hello everyone, and welcome to EverWise English. I'm your host, and I'm joined today by my wonderful co-host.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here with all of you today.
You know, one of the most wonderful things about learning English is being able to share the things we love, our hobbies, our passions, the activities that bring us joy.
Absolutely. Maybe you love gardening, cooking, reading, or walking in nature. Perhaps you enjoy painting, woodworking, or playing cards with friends.
But when someone asks, what do you like to do in your free time? Do you freeze? Do the English words disappear?
That happens to so many people. And today, we are going to change that.
Let me teach you a simple phrase that will help you today. I'm passionate about.
Oh, I love that phrase. It's warm, it's honest, and it invites conversation.
Exactly. In the next 45 minutes, we'll learn natural ways to talk about your hobbies, practice real conversations, and I'll share a beautiful story about someone just like you who found confidence through sharing what they love.
So get comfortable, maybe grab a cup of tea, and let's begin this journey together.
Now, many older adults tell me the same thing. I know what I want to say in my language, but in English, I feel stuck. I use the same boring words over and over, like love, nice. I want to sound more interesting, more like myself.
Does this sound familiar to you? I know it does to me. Even though I speak English now, I remember feeling exactly this way when I was learning.
This isn't about intelligence, it's about practice and knowing the right phrases. When we are nervous, our vocabulary shrinks. We forget the words we know.
We need comfortable, ready-to-use expressions that feel natural, expressions that flow easily from our mouths without thinking too hard.
When we can't express our passions clearly, we miss connections. We miss the chance to share stories, make friends, and show who we really are.
And that's such a shame, because you have wonderful things to share. Your hobbies, your experiences, your unique perspective, these are gifts you can offer to others.
Let me give you a practical phrase right now that will help. It helps me relax.
That's a gentle, honest way to explain why you enjoy something. For example, I enjoy knitting. It helps me relax after a busy day.
Simple, natural, and true. You can use this phrase with almost any hobby.
So let's dive deeper now. How do you answer that common question? What do you do in your free time? Or what are your hobbies?
These questions can feel intimidating, but they're actually wonderful opportunities to connect with people. You need 3 parts to answer well.
First, name the hobby. Second, say why you enjoy it. And third, add one small detail. That's it. 3 simple parts.
Let me show you what this looks like. Here's an example. I enjoy gardening. It helps me stay active and connect with nature. Right now, I'm growing tomatoes and herbs.
Do you hear how that works? The hobby is gardening. The reason is staying active and connecting with nature. The detail is about the tomatoes and herbs.
It's conversational, it's warm, and it gives the other person something to respond to.
Let me teach you 3 useful phrases that will make this easy for you. The first phrase is, in my free time, I enjoy.
This is a natural, friendly opener. It's not too formal, not too casual, it's just right.
For example, in my free time, I enjoy reading mystery novels. Or in my free time, I enjoy taking photographs of birds.
This phrase works for any hobby, and it sounds polite and natural. The second phrase is, I've been doing this for.
This shows your experience and commitment. It tells people that this hobby matters to you, that it's not just something you tried once.
For example, I've been doing this for about 15 years now. Or I've been doing this since I retired 5 years ago.
This phrase adds depth to your answer. And the third phrase is, it brings me peace.
This is a warm way to express the emotional benefit of your hobby. And you know what? You can change the feeling word.
You could say it brings me joy, or it brings me satisfaction, or it brings me closer to my family.
For example, walking in the park every morning brings me peace. I love the quiet time before the day begins.
Let's try this together. Think of your hobby right now. Picture it in your mind.
Now say with me, in my free time, I enjoy. And add your hobby. Then say, I've been doing this for. And add how long.
Finally say, it brings me. And add the feeling. Take your time. There's no rush.
Don't worry about perfect grammar. The goal is connection, not perfection.
If you make a small mistake, people will still understand you. They'll appreciate that you're sharing something personal with them. That's what matters most.
Now let's take this to the next level. Let's make your description more colorful and interesting.
You want the listener to see and feel what you experience when you do your hobby. You want them to understand why it's special to you.
I'm going to teach you something I call the 5 senses approach. Think about what you see, hear, touch, smell, or feel when you do your hobby.
These sensory details bring your words to life. They create a picture in the listener's mind.
Let me give you an example. Instead of just saying I love baking, you could say, I love baking bread. The smell of fresh bread filling the kitchen reminds me of my childhood. I enjoy kneading the dough with my hands. It's almost like meditation.
Do you see the difference? We added smell, touch, and a memory. This paints a complete picture.
Here are 3 more phrases that will help you add rich description. The first phrase is, what I love most is.
This highlights your favorite part of the hobby. It shows enthusiasm and specificity.
For example, what I love most is watching the sunset while I paint. The changing colors inspire me.
Or what I love most is the quiet concentration when I'm working on a puzzle. The second phrase is, it reminds me of.
This connects your hobby to memories and emotions. It makes your description personal and touching.
For example, the sound of birds singing reminds me of my grandmother's garden where I played as a child.
Or the smell of oil paints reminds me of my art teacher who believed in me. The third phrase is, I get lost in.
This expresses deep engagement and flow. It shows that you're truly absorbed in what you're doing.
For example, when I'm working on a puzzle, I get lost in the challenge and forget about time.
Or when I'm reading a good novel, I get lost in the story and the world disappears around me.
Let me give you a real-life scenario. Imagine you're at a community center. You're sitting with your knitting, and someone approaches you and asks about it. This is your moment.
You could say, I've been knitting for 20 years. What I love most is choosing the colors and patterns. It reminds me of making sweaters for my grandchildren when they were young. I get lost in the rhythm of the needles. It's very peaceful.
Do you hear how that sounds? It's warm, it's detailed, it's conversational.
The person listening can see you knitting, they can imagine the sweaters, they can feel your peace. This is the power of good description.
Try adding 1 sensory detail to your hobby description right now. What do you see, hear, or feel when you're doing your hobby?
Think about it for a moment. Maybe the smell of soil in your garden, or the sound of music when you dance, or the feel of wood when you're carving. These details make all the difference.
Now, talking about hobbies isn't just about you. It's a 2-way conversation.
Let's learn how to respond when others share their hobbies and how to ask friendly questions. This is so important because connection happens in the back and forth, not just in one person talking.
When someone shares their hobby with you, you want to respond with warmth and genuine interest. You want them to feel heard and appreciated.
This encourages them to share more, and it deepens your connection. Let me teach you 3 phrases for responding to others.
The first phrase is, "That sounds wonderful." This is a warm, encouraging response that works for almost any hobby.
For example, someone says, "I collect stamps," and you respond, "That sounds wonderful. How did you start?"
This shows enthusiasm and opens the door for them to tell you more. The second phrase is, "I'd love to hear more about."
This shows genuine interest and invites the person to go deeper.
For example, "I'd love to hear more about your photography. What do you like to photograph most? People, nature, or something else?"
This phrase tells the person that you truly care about what they are saying. The third phrase is, "Have you always enjoyed?"
This opens deeper conversation about their journey with the hobby.
For example, "Have you always enjoyed cooking, or did you discover it later in life?"
People love talking about how they got started, and this question gives them that opportunity.
Now, I want to tell you something important. It's okay to mention difficulties or challenges with your hobby.
In fact, it makes you more relatable. It shows you're human, that you're still learning, that you don't pretend to be perfect.
For example, you might say, "I enjoy playing guitar, but I'll admit, learning new songs at my age takes patience. My fingers don't move as quickly as they used to." Still, every small improvement feels like a victory.
This kind of honesty is beautiful. It invites others to share their own challenges, and it creates a real connection.
Here's a wonderful connecting phrase, "It's never too late to."
Use this to encourage both yourself and others. For example, "I started painting 3 years ago at age 65. It's never too late to try something new and discover hidden talents."
This phrase is hopeful and inspiring. Let's practice a short conversation exchange together.
I'll ask you a question, and you can practice responding. Ready?
What do you like to do in your free time?
You could respond, "I enjoy bird watching. It helps me relax and appreciate nature. I love the early mornings when the birds are most active. What about you?"
I love cooking traditional recipes from my grandmother.
You respond, "That sounds wonderful. What's your favorite dish to make?"
Did you notice how that flowed naturally? You answered the question, you added detail, you asked a question back, and then you responded with interest to their answer.
This is the rhythm of good conversation. Now let me tell you a story that I think will inspire you. This is the story of Margaret, and it shows the real power of sharing your hobby in English.
Margaret is 68 years old and lives in a small town. For most of her life, Margaret worked as a librarian.
She was shy and rarely spoke much, even in her native language. She was the kind of person who preferred books to people, quiet corners to crowded rooms.
When Margaret retired, she decided to join a local community garden. She'd always loved plants, but had never had time to really pursue gardening while she was working.
The garden was beautiful, with raised beds, fruit trees, and a lovely greenhouse. Margaret was so excited to finally have time for this passion.
But there was a problem. Most of the other gardeners spoke English, and Margaret's English was very basic.
She'd learned some English in school many years ago, but she'd barely used it since then. She could understand simple conversations, but speaking, that was terrifying for her.
At first, Margaret would just smile and nod when people talked to her. She'd work quietly in her corner of the garden, tending her plants with love and care.
When people asked, "What are you planting?" she'd say very simply, "Flowers." "Nice." That was all she could manage to say.
Inside, Margaret felt so frustrated. She had so much to say.
She wanted to talk about the rose varieties she'd chosen, about how she prepared the soil with compost, about the joy she felt digging in the earth with her hands, about how gardening reminded her of her father's garden from her childhood.
But the words wouldn't come. They were trapped inside her, blocked by fear and lack of confidence.
Weeks went by like this. Margaret would arrive early, work alone, and leave before too many people gathered.
She felt isolated even though she was surrounded by friendly people. She even thought about quitting the garden, but she loved her plants too much.
Then one day, everything changed. An older gentleman named Tom noticed Margaret's beautiful rose bushes.
They were truly spectacular, deep red blooms, healthy green leaves, no sign of disease or pests.
Tom walked over to Margaret and said warmly, "These roses are absolutely stunning. You must have a special touch. How long have you been growing them?"
Margaret felt her heart racing. This was her moment. She remembered a phrase she'd been practicing at home from a library book.
She took a deep breath, looked at Tom, and said, "Thank you very much. I'm passionate about roses. I've been growing them for 3 years now."
Tom's eyes lit up with genuine interest. 3 years. That's wonderful. What do you love most about growing roses?
Margaret felt the words coming a little easier now. She said, "What I love most is watching them bloom in spring. Each bud opening is like a small miracle. It brings me such peace to see them."
I completely understand that feeling, Tom said with a smile. I get the same feeling with my woodworking. When I finish a piece and see it come together, it's magical.
Margaret asked, using another phrase she'd practiced, "That sounds wonderful. How long have you been doing woodworking?"
And just like that, they were having a real conversation. They talked for 20 minutes.
Tom told her about the bookshelf he was building, and Margaret found herself sharing more about her roses, how she chose varieties that reminded her of her father's garden, how the smell took her back to her childhood, how she'd recently started experimenting with climbing roses for a trellis.
Tom was fascinated. He asked questions, shared his own experiences, and by the end of the conversation, he'd invited Margaret to see his woodworking shop, and she'd promised to show him how to start a small rose bed.
That conversation changed everything for Margaret. She realized something profound. People weren't judging her English.
They weren't counting her mistakes or listening for perfect grammar. They just wanted to connect.
They wanted to share their passions and hear about hers. The English was just a tool for connection, not a test to pass.
From that day forward, Margaret began opening up more. She started arriving earlier and staying later. She joined the other gardeners for tea breaks.
She shared her rose cuttings and taught newcomers about proper pruning techniques, all in English.
Yes, she made mistakes. Sometimes she used the wrong word or forgot how to say something.
But she'd learned to say, "How do you say?" Or, "I'm not sure of the word, but I mean." And people would help her.
Now, a year later, Margaret is one of the most talkative members of the garden club. She gives workshops on rose growing. She's made genuine friends.
She even started writing labels for all the plants in the garden with their names and care instructions, in English. Her confidence has grown not just in English, but in all areas of her life.
Margaret's story teaches us something beautiful. Sharing your passion in English doesn't require perfect grammar.
It requires courage, a few good phrases, and the willingness to try. Your hobby is a bridge to friendship.
Your interests are what connect you to other people, regardless of language barriers.
Margaret succeeded because she prepared a few simple phrases and used them. She practiced "I'm passionate about," and "what I love most is at home" until they felt comfortable.
Then, when the opportunity came, she was ready. Not perfect, ready. There's a big difference.
You can do exactly what Margaret did. You have hobbies and passions that are just as interesting as hers.
You have stories to share that others want to hear. All you need is a little courage and the phrases we are learning today.
Now it's your turn to practice. I'm going to guide you through 3 simple exercises.
Don't just listen to these, actually do them out loud. Speaking is the only way to build confidence. Are you ready?
Exercise 1. Build your introduction. I want you to complete this sentence out loud. In my free time, I enjoy blank. I've been doing this for blank. It helps me blank.
Fill in those blanks with your own hobby and details. Let me do it first so you can hear it, then you try.
In my free time, I enjoy reading historical novels. I've been doing this for many years, since I was a teenager. It helps me relax and learn about different time periods.
Now you try. Say it out loud. In my free time, I enjoy. I've been doing this for. It helps me.
Don't worry about anyone hearing you. Just practice. We'll wait a moment for you.
Beautiful. Even if it felt awkward, you did it. That's progress.
Exercise 2. Add a detail. Now let's add one descriptive detail using what I love most is. Or it reminds me of.
Think about your hobby and add one sensory detail or memory. Here's my example. What I love most about reading is the quiet hours in the evening when the house is peaceful. It reminds me of my father, who always had a book in his hand.
Now you try. Add one detail to your hobby. Say out loud, what I love most is. Or it reminds me of.
Go ahead, try it now.
Excellent. You're building your confidence with each sentence.
Exercise 3. Conversation practice. Now imagine I ask you this question. What's your favorite hobby, and why do you enjoy it?
I want you to pause for a moment and answer out loud using the phrases we've learned today. Give a complete answer, name the hobby, say why you enjoy it, and add one detail.
Pretend I'm sitting right there with you, genuinely interested in your answer. Let me give you a model answer first.
My favorite hobby is cooking traditional recipes from my mother and grandmother. I've been cooking for over 40 years. What I love most is sharing meals with my family on Sundays.
It reminds me of my mother's warm kitchen and brings everyone together around the table. The smell of her recipes makes me feel like she's still with us.
Now you try. Answer the question out loud. What's your favorite hobby, and why do you enjoy it?
Take your time. No one is judging you. Just speak from your heart.
Wonderful. Every time you practice like this, you're building confidence.
These phrases will become more and more natural with repetition. It's like learning to ride a bicycle, wobbly at first, but then it becomes automatic.
Now let's bring everything together. Today, we've learned how to talk about your favorite hobby in English with warmth and confidence.
Let me remind you of the key ideas we covered. First, start simple. Name your hobby, say why you enjoy it, and add one detail.
You don't need long, complicated sentences. Simple and sincere is always better than complex and confusing.
Second, use sensory words to paint a picture. Tell people what you see, hear, smell, touch, or feel when you do your hobby.
These details make your description come alive and help others understand why it's special to you.
Third, keep conversations flowing with questions and warm responses. Show genuine interest in other people's hobbies.
Say things like, "That sounds wonderful," and "I'd love to hear more about that." Remember, conversation is about connection, not just talking.
And fourth, remember Margaret's story. Your passion is your bridge to connection. Imperfect English cannot stop that.
What matters is your willingness to try, your warmth, and your authentic interest in sharing and learning.
Here's my challenge for you today, and I really hope you'll do this. Think of your favorite hobby. Write down 2 sentences about it using the phrases we learned.
Maybe use in my free time, I enjoy. And what I love most is. Just 2 sentences. Write them down on paper or type them on your computer.
Then say them out loud 3 times, once slowly, once at normal speed, and once with feeling and emotion.
That's it. Just 2 sentences, 3 repetitions. This simple practice will embed these phrases in your memory.
And tomorrow, write 2 different sentences and practice those. In 1 week, you'll have 14 sentences prepared, and you'll feel so much more confident.
Let me teach you one final challenge phrase for today. I'd love to share more about my hobby.
This phrase shows openness and invites conversation. It tells people you're happy to talk and that you have more to say.
Repeat after me slowly. I'd love to share more about my hobby.
Again, I'd love to share more about my hobby.
One more time with confidence. I'd love to share more about my hobby.
Perfect. Use this phrase when someone shows interest in what you do. It's welcoming and warm.
Remember, my dear friends, every great conversation starts with one brave sentence.
You have interesting stories to share, and the world needs to hear them, in your voice, in English, with all your passion and warmth.
You're not too old to learn. You're not too shy to speak. You're not making too many mistakes.
You're exactly where you need to be, and you're making progress.
If this podcast helped you today, please leave us a review and share it with a friend who's also learning English.
And we would absolutely love for you to send us a message telling us about your favorite hobby in English. Try using one of the phrases we learned today.
It doesn't need to be perfect. We read every message, and we are cheering for you. We are so proud of every person who takes the time to practice.
If you haven't subscribed to EverWise English yet, please do. We create gentle, practical lessons just like this one, designed specifically for adults who want to improve their English with patience, kindness, and real-world usefulness.
No pressure, no judgment, just steady progress together.
Before we go, I want you to know something. Learning English at any age is an act of courage.
It takes humility to be a beginner again. It takes persistence to keep trying when it feels difficult. And it takes hope to believe that improvement is possible.
You have all of these qualities, and we admire you for being here today.
Keep practicing. Keep growing. And remember, you're doing so much better than you think.
Every word you learn, every phrase you practice, every moment you spend improving yourself, it all matters. You matter.
This is EverWise English, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Until then, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and keep sharing your wonderful hobbies with the world.
Goodbye for now, my friends.
Goodbye and happy learning.